Hi everybody, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead, and I also have the channel Maria Tells a Story. And I got to borrow a book from a friend, and it is Bible stories. And they're just done so very well. I wanted to read one. First, I want to say Happy Sabbath. It's Friday night, and that's the end of 6 days. And it's the beginning of the Sabbath when it's night. I didn't used to know that, but you'll be learning why after a while. Okay, so back to the beginning. Have you ever wondered how everything in the world began? I suppose so. Most boys and girls do. Like the beautiful flowers that are in your yard. You might have roses. You might have snapdragons or geraniums or lilies, pansies. Oh, you got them at the store. Where'd they get them from? Ah, they grew them from seeds. Where did the seeds come from? And do you have a dog or a cat? Where did your dog or cat come from? That's a really good question. Oh, you got it as a puppy or a kitten. Its mama had it. Where did it come from? And some dogs have a very fine pedigree. That means you know the father's name and maybe the grandfather's. But how about before that? One thing you can be very sure of, your dog's grandfather was a puppy once too. And he had a father and a grandfather and so on, back to when? So these children here are talking with Uncle Arthur. And they're talking about that. Then there's a rooster. Like I have roosters. Some of you might have roosters, or maybe in your neighbor's yard. Where did that rooster come from? An egg. Yep, you're right. It came from an egg. But the hen laid the egg, didn't she? Mm-hmm. And she also came from an egg. And back and back and back. Back to what? Then there's you. Where'd you come from? Oh, you say, Mother brought me home from the hospital. I suppose she did. But Mother was a little baby once herself, wasn't she? And so was her mother and her grandmother, and great-grandmother, and back and back and back to whom? Think of the mountains, too, and the wooded hills, the flowing rivers, and the sand on the seashore. All the wonderful things of nature. Were they always here, just like you see them now? Or did they have a beginning? And if so, when and how? Many great men have tried to explain these things, and they've come up with all sorts of strange ideas and suggestions. Most of them are a long way from the truth. There's only one place you can find the true story, and that is in the Bible. If you will open this wonderful book, you will find that the very first part is called Genesis. Genesis means beginnings. Here you will find the answers to all of your questions. And that reminds me of a little girl I once knew. Once I asked her what chapter of the Bible she liked best. I thought she would say the 23rd Psalm, the one that begins with "The Lord is my shepherd." But no, she said the first chapter of Matthew. I suppose you like it because it tells about how Jesus was born. I said, oh no, she said. I like it best because it's all about begats. The what? I asked. The begats, she said. So I opened my Bible and I turned to Matthew. And there it was. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas, and so on. I asked her if she knew what it meant, and she says, no, but I do like the begats. So I told her that it meant Abraham had a little boy, and Isaac had a little boy, and Jacob had a little boy, and so on. But I think she really did like the begats the best. Then I told her that put that the other way, it would read, and Jacob had a daddy, and Isaac had a daddy, and Abraham had a daddy, and so on. She liked that better, but I wondered how far back the story goes. I told her what Luke says about it. In his 3rd chapter, verse 34, Luke picks up the story at Abraham and carries it back farther and farther and farther. He tells us Abraham was the son of Thera, which was the son of Nachor, which was the son of Shurach, and so on. Those are unusual names, aren't they? Such strange ones. But they were the names of real boys long, long time ago. Then, having told us the names of Abraham, his great-grandpa and great-great-grandpa and so on, Luke says that Enos was born of Seth, which means the son of Adam, which, how very wonderful, which was the son of God. There the story ends. And it ends there because it cannot go any farther back. It goes clear back to God and stops. And that's where you go back to. And Daddy and Mama and everybody's daddy and mama, everybody's grandpa and grandma, their great-grandmas and great-grandpas, they all go back across the years, across the centuries 100 years, all the way to God. So it's many centuries ago. Not to a monkey, because some people say that. And not to a tiny little tadpole in the sea, but to the great and wonderful God who made the world and he made man. And that is exactly what we will read in the first words of the first chapter in the whole Bible. It says, in the beginning. So we're going to be reading about this, and I hope you like these stories. I know that when I listened to them, I just thought they were wonderful. So this is Maria. I want to say I love you. I really do. But even more importantly, God loves you. And he always, always will. And you know what? He made you. And he made me. So I hope you have a good night or a good day whenever you're listening to this. And I'll be back again tomorrow. All right. Good night.